changes everything. In case you're wondering, we don't lose free will. But it's that overwhelming that everybody just, what can I say? I said it's the smartest people in the universe, the most fantastic orators in every universe. Even they cannot put into words what the Great Occurrence is. The only one that could possibly put into words what the Great Occurrence is probably God himself, Jesus. That's right. Or you know, let's put this, probably just God. That's how hard it is to explain. I will tell you that the Great Occurrence, oh yeah. Yeah, if that did not come, I don't know where all the universes would be. Because there was a lot of stuff going on. Even the people on Earth didn't know, but there were worse than intergalactic wars. By the way, just kind of funny, for instance. You remember back in the day when people were saying UFO'S didn't exist? Well, not only did they exist, but they had been watching Earth since about, well, I guess I could tell you. UFOs have been visiting Earth since about 6,000 years BC. Probably earlier than that. Many different planets, many different galaxies. And yeah, they're way past going past light speed because they, again, I can't tell you that much, but they found other ways to travel. So actually, it's really difficult to say. The last time we counted, there was about, I think there was like 30, wait a minute. You know, it's been a long time. No, I think there was like 22 billion people on the planet Earth. About 22 billion. Well, at 22 billion people, the Earth was more than overpopulated. And how we ended up sustaining life was we discovered the universal substance, which is thought. The universal substance can create thought. There's a great book in the late, I think it was the 1900s. I didn't check my history. Sometimes I don't. But at any rate, there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. I believe you read it. In fact, I know you read it because I'm you. Remember when you were reading The Science of Getting Rich and they talked about the universal substance? Well, really, the universal substance was another word for God or Jesus Christ. And because in your time, people fight about who's the real God. And then there's even what they called atheists back in your day. People didn't believe in God. They're considered agnostic and atheists. Well, basically, the gentleman used the term universal substance. The universal substance is God, but it's also another aspect of God. Well, at any rate, they found a way to essentially create things out of nothing. First it became a thought, and then eventually it became a reality. And also, you got to keep in mind that while 22 billion people are on the planet, they're not there all the time. Sometimes we have as little as, well, sometimes it's about maybe 5 billion. Because people are traveling all the time. I mean, to different planets, different galaxies, different universes. And because of the fact that there are what they call parallel universes, parallel realities, and also not just realities, but dimensions, and what have you, even if 22 billion people were there, they don't necessarily take up physical space. They don't necessarily take up the need for physical clothing, the need for food. So 22 billion is not the 22 billion that you're used to. It's not living on the physical earth necessarily in the traditional sense. But yeah, there's 22 billion people on the planet Earth at points. Sometimes it's as little as 5 billion or something. It depends. Now, I know you didn't ask this question, but you remember people used to always think they were ghosts? Well, what you called ghosts a lot of times were actually people who had died in the physical body, but they did not yet go to paradise. I guess that book was right then, huh? So you would recommend every single person that you know to read that book, The Science of Getting Rich. Well, I thought it was a good book, but I didn't really buy into it. The universal substance. I mean, come on, I believe in the Lord God. I believe in Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. But that makes sense. That does make sense. But you're telling me that when I'm done talking to you, and I go forth and I do my videos over the next few years and all that, I should be talking a lot about the universal substance. Of course I know it's Lord God, but I didn't think that back. Well, I don't think it now, really, until you told me.